Okay, welcome everybody to another edition of Chat Over Coffee. This is episode number 11 for the year 2026. And let's see here. Here we go. Okay. Ariana Chavez. Say hello, Ariana.
Hi, everyone.
Good. Okay. And also on the show, we have students of mine. Rafa is here, and also Carlos and Valeria, who, if you've watched the show before, you've probably seen them before because I think they're my top participants on the show. You guys have been here quite a bit, right? Right, Carlos and Valeria?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hi.
Okay, good. So let's go around and introduce ourselves here. Okay. Most people should know who I am. John Victor Hall, a Canadian who lives in Costa Rica and has lived here for many years now. And I've been teaching English online for many years now. I've been an English teacher for about 30 years at least. Yes, I teach online here from Costa Rica. Let me see. Okay. Ariana, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me today. My name is Ariana. You can call me Ari. I'm an English teacher as well, but currently I'm working for a pharmaceutical company, Roche. I have been working there for over 9 years. And I can tell you I'm a Costa Rican. I live in Curridabat. And my passion is basically teaching English and spending time with my family. So it's a pleasure to be with all of you today.
Okay. Yep. Good. Let me see. Just want to point out that you are working for Roche Costa Rica, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you live here. You said you live here in Costa Rica, so yeah. Okay.
I do.
Let me see. Carlos and Valeria, can you please briefly introduce yourselves?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Valeria, and as the teacher said, we have been in a talk shows for many times. I work in a free sound company, and I have been in classes with John for, I'm not sure, teacher, I believe that is over 2 years.
I think so.
Almost
Yes.
3.
Maybe.
Hi, everyone. My name is Carlos. Yeah, I think I don't remember exactly how many times my participation here. Thanks, John, for inviting me again. Yeah, I'm from Palmares. I'm working for a company. They are growers and exporters of ornamental plants. That's it.
Yep. Okay. And the two of you are married, of course.
Yeah.
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 Okay. That's why you're both in the same camera frame. Okay. Let me see. Rafa, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Rafael Acosta. I live in Heredia. I am a senior network engineer. I'm working right now with DXC Technology, which is a technology company, international technology company. So
Yep.
this is my second participation here. Yeah, and I'm very enthusiastic about technology, music, and and I and I enjoy a lot share with my family.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay. Good.
nice to
Yeah.
meet you.
And yeah. Actually, both Ari and myself have also worked for DXC Technology in the past. So yeah, we've had some experience working in information technology. So good. Okay. And now let's see here. The first thing I want to do today, every week I make a poll in WhatsApp for my students. And the poll asks students about the meaning of a word or expression. And people are allowed to vote on the answer that they think is the correct one. Let me see. Does anybody have WhatsApp there? Is anybody looking at the poll in WhatsApp? right now?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay, Carlos or Valeria, would one of you like to read the poll?
Sure. Without using a search engine or AI, please answer this question. What does POV mean?
Right. Okay. And Carlos, can you read the options?
Okay, the first one, viewpoint.
Mhm.
Second one, position of validity.
Mhm.
The third one, point of verification.
Mhm.
The number fourth, position of value. And the last one, point of visibility.
Visibility. Yeah. Mhm.
Visibility, yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. So let's see. I think Rafa, Carlos, Valeria, you all voted in this. Would you like to tell us what you voted for?
In my case, I'm almost sure that I'm wrong, but I
really?
choose point of verification.
Okay. Yeah. You chose. That's the past tense
I
of
chose.
choose.
Mhm.
You chose.
Choose.
Sorry. Which one? Point of verification.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, you're the only one that voted for that. Okay. But you were not afraid to be different. I think you should be applauded for that. Okay.
Okay.
Very good. You were brave. Okay. Carlos, what about you?
Yeah, the last one.
Point of visibility. Okay, good. 2 people voted for that. Okay.
But I'm not sure. Obviously.
You're not sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Rafa, I think you voted, right?
Yeah, I choose point of view.
But that's not really what's there.
No.
It doesn't actually say point of view.
Okay. No, the other one. Point of, I don't know, something.
No.
very Sorry.
No,
It's
well, actually,
viewpoint.
yeah, it says viewpoint. It doesn't say point of view.
Viewpoint. Yeah, but for me,
Right.
that's the same. Yeah.
Yeah, you are right. They mean exactly the same thing, viewpoint and point of view. But if I put point of view in the poll, I think it would have made it really easy. So the
Yeah.
reason why I put viewpoint is I was testing to see if people would realize or understand that point of view and viewpoint mean exactly the same thing. Okay. Point of view, I think people know very well. Viewpoint is not quite as well known as point of view, right? But I didn't fool people because the majority of people voted for viewpoint. And yes, POV
Yeah.
means point of view, which also means viewpoint. So that is the correct answer. Yeah. Okay, good. So let's see. We are done with that. And let's go on then to the interview. Okay. So I'll start things off here. And let's just have you, Ari, talk a little bit about your history of learning English. Go right back to the beginning. Where did you first get exposed to English? What were the big steps in learning English as you grew up? And yeah, go ahead. Tell us the whole story.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's very interesting because the first time that I was exposed to the language was when I was 3 years old. I was a
Really?
small child. Yeah, I was an only child at that moment.
Oh.
And I was living with my mom and with my grandma. And well, my mom was working, and my grandma was usually with me all day long. And the thing is that at some point, I think someone told my mom, like, it's important that she starts to have some connection with other children because she's the only one just with your mom, right? So she took me to this place. It was called back in the day Sonrisitas, but now it's San Gregory School. So I think I was like maybe like we were the first generation of Sonrisitas, and then San Gregory School. So I started
just a minute. That is the one here in Tres Rios,
in
isn't
Tres
it?
Rios. Yes.
Oh,
yes, yes.
I know that's quite close to where I live. Yeah.
It's a very
Okay.
good institution. It's actually like they have a really great curriculum and bilingual curriculum. So I remember that when I was 3, obviously I don't remember everything, but I remember some teachers, and I remember this teacher. Her name was Teacher Annie. Teacher
Mm.
Annie was not from Costa Rica. She was, I think, from the US or somewhere else,
Okay.
but she
Mhm.
barely spoke Spanish. And
Really?
my mom used to tell me that she had this idea that I had to tell her, like, I need to go to the restroom in English. Otherwise,
Okay.
I was just sitting there, like, pretty much peeing on me, right? So the
Oh my,
teacher was
really?
she was very strict, and she somehow forced the
Wow.
children to speak English. But I really liked it. I remember being very little, sitting like with the rest of my classmates, singing like different songs. And my grandma, since I was then in the afternoon, I was with her. Usually, she was telling her other friends, like, "Ari, come in and speak to them in English, or just sing
Mhm.
the songs that you learn in kindergarten." So the thing is that I love the language since I was very little, but in
Oh.
first grade, I started still attending San Gregory School. Now it changed the name to San Gregory School,
Mhm.
and I don't know, the curriculum is amazing, but somehow I think I started having this phobia for Spanish. I know it sounds very weird, like how can you have phobia for your own language, for your native language? But my phobia was because of the type of teacher that I had for Spanish at that time. I was having some problems
Oh.
like reading in Spanish and actually like writing in Spanish, which is, it's something that I always wanted to know why I was having this problem in my own language. But in English, I loved it. I remember that I loved every single class with my
Oh.
teachers. But
Okay.
I started having a lot of, what we call cognitive overload, right? It was a lot for me. And my mom, at that moment, I had
Sorry. With the English or with the Spanish?
with the
Cognitive
Spanish.
over. Oh, with the Spanish.
With the
Oh.
Spanish. I know
Okay.
it's an
Okay.
interesting case because how can you have, this, they say like it was like a phobia. I didn't want to go to school, but not because of the English teachers. It was because of my Spanish teacher. She didn't
Yeah,
have
yeah,
patience and,
yeah, yeah.
you
Just
know.
let me interrupt here because I want to know. I want to ask my students: have you ever had anything like this? A fear of learning Spanish?
No.
No,
Not really.
Yeah.
The most common is
Rafa.
for English.
Oh,
Right?
okay, okay.
Exactly.
Oh,
What about you, Rafa?
I heard something a couple of weeks ago that some of the international schools we have here in Costa Rica are struggling with the Spanish. They speak and write better in English than in Spanish, so we have an issue because our kids are are better in English than in Spanish right now. In that
Ah,
schools,
really?
specifically in that schools. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
You,
interesting.
you
it's
know,
interesting.
it might be related to the fact that Spanish is actually more complicated
It
than
is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
English,
Mhm.
that's true.
Mhm.
especially when you get into all the different verb tenses and all the conjugations. I mean,
Right.
I always love, if you just let me speak here for a minute, I always like to point out that in English there are only four forms of the word do. Do you know what
Mhm.
they are? Do you guys know what they are? There are only four different ways to conjugate, I guess is the word. Yeah, there are only
Yeah,
four
for
ways
sure.
to conjugate the word do in all of the verb tenses. Do you know what they are? Name them. You don't have to name all of them. Start with one. Do, obviously. What's another
Do,
one?
Did, does, done,
does, did,
Does,
done.
Done.
did,
Yeah.
and done. That's
Mhm.
it.
done. Yeah.
And you say done and you're done. Okay, there's no more. Okay. And for the verb hacer in Spanish,
Oh,
how many different forms of it are there?
Infinitive.
it's true.
It's like, is it more than, is it around 100? You don't
I don't
know?
know exactly, but
No.
yeah, there is. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, there are some verbs in Spanish. Yeah, there are a lot of conjugations.
Yeah,
Yes.
I believe that would do. There's at there's at least 50 different conjugations of it in all the different verb tenses, and I'm not sure exactly how many it is, but yeah. Fortunately, you don't use a lot of those.
Yeah.
A lot of them are
that's right.
rarely used, but how many do you regularly use of the different forms of hacer? How many of them do you
Wow.
regularly use?
Let me
20 or
see.
20 or
Maybe,
30?
maybe,
Maybe.
yeah, because
Mm.
obviously the BOS, vosotros here in Costa Rica don't,
No,
the
we don't
people
use
don't
vosotros.
use that.
Mhm.
Yeah, but yeah, maybe 20, 30, 30 conjugations.
Right, yeah, yeah. Okay, so yeah, so I can understand why advanced Spanish in particular would be possibly something that causes a little bit of phobia
Yes.
for people. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. So yeah, remember that. You think English is hard. It's actually harder to learn when you're a native speaker like me and learning Spanish. I've been here for 25 years and I'm still a low B2 level in Spanish. I'm much better with verb tenses now, fortunately. But just still sometimes I don't know the form of the verb. And yeah. Okay, but let's get back to Ari here. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, you're at the
Saint Gregory.
Saint
Yes.
Gregory. That's what they call it. Yeah, Saint Gregory
Yes.
at school. Okay.
Yeah, and I was in first grade, and I started having this phobia. I didn't want to go to school. So for a little girl, like not going to school, it's important when you're in first grade. That is when you're
Right.
getting your baseline on how to read and write correctly in your own language.
Right.
So when I was able to finally pass the grade and the whole, let's say, level, and the teachers told my mom, like, this is actually causing a lot of problems for her in terms of my psychological safety, my emotions.
Really?
I was having anxiety. I didn't want to go, but I loved
Wow.
going to the English classes because of course the teachers were very nice to me, and because the language for me was I don't know, there was something inside of me that told me, like, okay, this is a language that I really loved. So my mom had at that moment, like, my first, well, I have two siblings, and she was pregnant of my daughter, my sister. And she told me, like, okay, I think this is the chance to take you out of this school, and now you're going to start attending a public institution. So in second grade, I went to Napoleon Quesada. This is a public school that is right next to Casa Presidencial. Probably all of you have seen it. So in second grade, I went there.
Zapote?
Zapote, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was born and raised in Zapote. And so
Oh,
my mom,
really? Oh, okay.
yeah, all the time, very close, and I live very close from my mom's house. So
Oh,
I
really?
started attending this school. But the thing with this school is that they didn't have an English teacher. So second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth and sixth grade, I didn't see English anymore in my life because, of course, they were not teaching this language. Now they do in schools, but in the past they were teaching French. So I started,
Really?
being introduced to French, which I also liked. But of course, my passion, I knew that I really liked English. And what I remember from those years in high school was that, remember the Walkmans? So I remember when I got my first Walkman. And usually, since I was all the time with my grandma, I had to listen to radio stations that were in Spanish and Sinfonola. You guys can relate to that. So I didn't really like Sinfonola. So when my mom got me this Walkman as a present in Christmas, I found that they were stations in English, that they were actually, having some music in English. And in the 90s, so I grew up in the 90s, and I remember listening to Pearl Jam. I loved Nirvana. So you can imagine a 9-year-old listening to Smells Like Teen Spirit. And I was born
Nice.
and raised in a very Catholic environment. So my grandma couldn't actually see me listening to Smells Like Teen Spirit because, of course, that was going to be like
Right,
terrible, right, for a little girl.
right.
But I remember listening to, different grunge music, but also, to the Spice Girls, to Britney Spears, then Christina
Mhm,
Aguilera. So that
mhm,
was the music that I liked, and it was always in English. And
mhm,
I remember, I don't know if you guys remember, but in the cassettes and in the CDs,
mhm,
the singers, they had like the lyrics written down.
Yeah.
So what
mhm,
I used to
mhm.
do was I didn't actually knew anything, but I used to read them and I used to listen and try to sing along and follow the
Yeah,
lyrics,
yeah.
which
Uh-huh.
is now that I'm a teacher and that when I attended, of course, university to become an English
Mhm.
teacher, I know how important that is for your pronunciation. Actually, to
Right,
try
right.
to
Yes.
sing, to try to,
Mhm.
to read out loud is one of the best techniques that you can use when you're by yourself.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I used to do it a lot. I remember also in fifth grade, I found, so my mom was able to put cable TV in the house.
Mhm, mhm,
So I found different television channels. And I remember I watching Saturday Night Live,
mhm.
also David Letterman. I don't know if you
Oh,
remember David Letterman, but I
yeah, I
liked
certainly do.
the talk show of David Letterman because he
Mhm,
usually had really nice guests. And
mhm.
of course, since I love music, he also had really nice musicians. So
Yes, he
I
did.
was watching Letterman. I think it was Craig Ferguson as well from the Late
Mhm,
Late Show. So all these
mhm.
talk shows, I didn't understand anything. Like I was trying my
Oh,
best, but
really?
I
Really?
really liked like the way that I was in love with the rhythm, the intonation, the pronunciation of the words in English. There was
Oh,
something
okay.
that caught
Okay.
my attention. And of course,
Mhm.
because the seed of English was planted in me since I was very little, somehow
Right.
I think I still had that in there, inside. Like I wanted to speak English.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
then I finished my sixth grade and I went to high school, also to Liceo Rodrigo Facio, that is
Mhm,
right next to the school. Again, in Zapote, is an institution that is public. And
mhm,
in seventh grade, I had my English teacher again, but this time it was Doña Viria. And Doña
mhm.
Viria, she didn't really speak English very well. The
Yeah.
English that we were learning was verb to be, maybe simple present, some vocabulary here and there.
Mhm.
So my English was still, of course, not advanced. I could say that I was able to understand just a few sentences. I wasn't able
Right.
to speak fluently because, well, I don't know if it happens the same to you, but in Costa Rica, unfortunately, like some public institutions, English is still very basic. You
Mhm.
graduate
Yes.
from a senior and you can maybe have a very basic level, maybe A1,
Mhm,
A2
mhm.
perhaps, but not to be able to communicate fluently.
Right, right.
But still, I really liked the language. So I got magazines. I remember it was the Rolling Stone. Like when I went with my
Mhm,
mom to
mhm,
Automercado, I used to
mhm,
tell her like, "Mom, please, please, I will
mhm,
just get a good grade next time in this exam." So she could
mhm.
actually buy me the Rolling Stone because it was in English. So I was able
Uh-huh.
to obviously read about my favorite artists. I had a dictionary. So
Mhm,
back in the day, we didn't have internet. So nowadays,
mhm,
you can go to ChatGPT and then you can find like or to the translators. But
mhm,
when I
mhm,
was growing up and I was in my 16, 17 years old, I
mhm,
had to go to the dictionary if I wanted to know the meaning of a word.
mhm,
And well, I can tell you that I graduated with a very basic level of English,
mhm,
but I always wanted more. And when I finished my high school, I didn't know what to study. For a year, I was kind of lost in translation because I knew that
mhm,
I wanted to do something with my life and go to university, but I
mhm.
was not really sure about what to study. So I spent one
Okay.
year without really going to the university. I was already working with a friend
Mhm,
of my mom's in an
mhm,
accountant. He's an accountant, so I
mhm,
was helping him as an assistant, like running errands throughout the whole city of Curridabat. I had to go to the bank and do like different things for him.
mhm,
And then a friend of mine told me, like, Ari, have you heard that now, in order to get a better job, you can learn how to speak English better, and also
Mhm.
get into this computer science or whatever, like to learn how to use a computer very well.
Mhm.
So, but I didn't have the money, to be honest. My mom was a single mom, and
Mhm.
I knew that if I wanted to attend university, or I wanted to enroll in a very fancy program, maybe in Centro
Mhm.
Cultural or any of these places, I had to earn more money. So this friend, I had this friend from high school, and she used to listen to this radio station. It doesn't exist anymore. I think it was called Vox or something like that. And she was
Okay.
listening to this radio station, and then they were saying that they were going to give some scholarships in a very humble, let's say, institution, that it was they were teaching English, and it was
Okay.
in front of the Magali Theater. So they were going to, there was going to be a raffle, and they were going to give some scholarships to study English in that place. And
Really? Oh.
yeah, so she was like, she's this type of person. She's always very optimistic. So she
Mhm.
was listening every single day, and she was trying to get into the raffle, and she was able to get two spots of in two scholarships. So she took one, and the other one she told me, like, would you like to take the second one? And I said, of course, then we can study
Wow.
together. It was a very humble place. I can tell you, we didn't have like fancy books or like a lot of resources,
Uh-huh.
but
Uh-huh.
still, my teacher was, and I hope that someday I can see her again. She's Chilean. Her name was Alejandra Nara, and
Mhm.
this teacher, oh, she was amazing. She was, when she started speaking and I started seeing again the verb tenses and learning,
Uh-huh.
vocabulary. I
Uh-huh.
was like, yes, like something in my heart said, yes, I remember this when I was little.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Mhm.
And since I really liked English, like I was always translating the lyrics from music from my favorite artists.
Right.
I really like Avril Lavigne, so I remember I had this
Ah,
notebook, and I was always translating her lyrics.
okay.
And sometimes, that their lyrics in which they have idiomatic expressions, they have slang, they have phrasal
Exactly.
verbs,
Exactly. Yes.
and I didn't understand many of those because I went to my dictionary, my old
Mhm.
dictionary. I tried to
Mhm.
look up for the words. I didn't find them. So what I
Right.
used to
Right.
do was I went to these classes with my teacher, and I stayed with her at the end of the class, asking her, like, "Hey, teacher, I have all of these words that I want to know what they mean." So I was very
Mhm. Mhm.
curious. I always wanted to know more. Um, and she started telling me, okay, this means this, and this means that. I remember the
Mhm.
word head over feel, head over, what is the
Head
name?
over heels.
Yes, head over
Head over
heels.
heels.
This
Head
is a
over
song
heels in love.
this is a song
Right.
from Alanis Morissette, and I was like, what
Oh,
does
okay.
head over heels mean? It was very difficult to find the meaning. So
Right.
that's the way that I actually stayed there for a year, and then
Uh-huh.
at the end of that year, I told my teacher, Alejandra, like, hey, teacher, you know what? I'm not coming back anymore. She was like, what? Like, what? You're like the student who always wants to know more. What happened?
Right,
And I
right,
said,
right.
no, I'm not coming back because now I think I found what I want. I want to become an English teacher. You inspired me so much. And also my
Ah.
teachers when I was little, that I want to become an English teacher just like you. And she was so happy, and she was like,
Oh,
okay, well,
really?
I'm gonna miss you, but I know that you're doing the right thing. You're following your heart and your instinct.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I actually started in UIA, this university that is a private
Right.
university.
Yes.
And since I knew that I had to study and also to attend university at the same time, I enrolled in the night classes. So I was usually
Mhm.
taking my subjects from 6 to 9 p.m. And
Oh, but
I
but
got a
you were working at the
Oh
same time that
yes,
you were
I had
studying. Okay,
always to
okay.
work.
Okay, okay.
So I had my I actually this person, this friend of my mom, the accountant, told me,
Mhm.
Ari, we don't have actually we don't have more money to pay for you, so you have to
Mhm.
find another place. My heart broke that day because I loved working in that place, but he did something
Mhm.
amazing because somehow he forced me to find something better to challenge me,
Ah.
and I
Mhm.
applied to Western Union. In Western Union, they were looking for customer service representatives in English.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I don't know. I said, well, I'm gonna give it a shot. I don't know if my English is going to be okay for an interview, but I'm gonna give it a shot. And I went to an interview and I got the job. I got the job as a customer service representative. That was my first time working in a multinational company.
Right.
And I started working there. It was a nice job, but it was also very challenging because I was working with money. I was working in a department that was called money orders. So,
Okay.
so the type of calls that I was taking, I was in a call center. So the type of calls I was taking were related to people losing their money. So you can imagine they were very cruel. I was the first calls. I'll be very honest with you. I couldn't understand the word. I was like, oh my God, I'm
Right,
wasting my money and my time because I cannot really understand these people. Of course, I was getting calls from people from Texas, or accents from Texas. And then I had another call from Boston. I had another call from someone from New York. You imagine, like I had different accents. It was my first time being introduced to the real, accents of what you are going to get in different countries, also to UK. So yeah, I stayed there for 8 months. Then I got another job, but I really didn't enjoy it. And one day I said, you know what? I'm going to go into these hiring fairs that Hewlett Packard had. They were open hiring fairs. So I printed my resume and I went to Hewlett Packard. And I did all the tests. I remember I stayed there from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. You had to do an English test, and then you had to talk to so many people, different hiring managers. At the end of the day, they offered me a position, but it was in a graveyard shift. And
just a second. Do you guys know what that means? Graveyard shift? No, Carlos Valeria don't know what it means. Graveyard. Let's just ask the students here. Rafa, I think you know what it means. What is another word for graveyard?
Graveyard.
Yeah. A synonym.
In English or Spanish?
No. In English.
No, I don't. I don't remember.
You don't know?
No.
Cemetery.
Graveyard. Huh?
Cemetery.
Oh, okay.
Cemetery.
Yeah.
Cemetery.
But you know what a graveyard shift is, right?
Yeah, that one in at night, right?
Right.
The one that the old people sleep and
yes. That's how they call it.
Okay. Yeah.
But usually graveyard is at night. So normally you work from 10 p.m. until 5 a.m. So first of all, I was studying at night, so that was not a good possibility for me. And then some of my classes were not actually in the morning, so I couldn't actually doing this and taking this shift was going to end up, having me just work and not study. And I wanted to continue study, so I had to say no. I was heartbroken because, of course, I wanted to get a job in Hewlett Packard. At that time, people called it Happy Place. And maybe if you guys remember, it was a happy place.
What year was that? What year was that?
2008, 2007, 2008.
Okay. I started there at 2010.
2010. I remember watching Obama being elected. Watching his speech, very famous speech, when I was taking calls because that was definitely
2000. That was definitely 2008. Yeah,
2008.
That was such a positive time, right?
Yes, beautiful time, beautiful and beautiful people, amazing Obama and Michelle Obama. So I got the job. But I had to say no. So I had to go back to Western Union. I was again, okay, yes, I have to stay here, being yelled every single day by 80 people, like call after call. But still, I had some hope. I knew that there was a silver lining somehow.
Right.
And
but it was really good for improving your English because all of your calls were in English.
All of them, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So people who get jobs working at call centers in English, their English level just skyrockets. It just gets so much faster. As a matter of fact, I had one student was working with me, and she wanted to get a job at a call center, and then she got the job at the call center. And what did she do? She told me, "Well, John, I don't need to take classes from you anymore because I'm speaking English at least 8 hours a day." And I am learning so much here that I don't need to learn anymore.
Exactly. It
So
happens.
yeah, it wasn't good for me, but
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 it was good for her. Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
a great opportunity because you also
Right.
interact with so many people. You learn vocabulary really fast. And yeah, and
Mhm.
then it was a great opportunity for me because I was attending school at night. So I was
Mhm.
somehow, of course, like taking literature, taking grammar, taking phonetics,
Mhm.
while at the same time I was practicing all of this in the morning with my customers.
Right, right.
So when the time came, I got a call from HP, and they said, "Hey, we want to take you. We are opening this new department. It's called Pfizer. So we're going to be providing support to the
Ah,
Pfizer
yes.
customer, and we want to have you here so you can do some tests and see, if you are
Mhm.
the right fit." So
Because
I had to.
they kept you on file.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. They knew
So
you were a good candidate, and so they came back to
they
you.
came
That was the
back.
nice thing about HP. Yeah.
Exactly. And so I had to go to the American Free Zone.
Mhm.
And when I got there, I had to do this test. It was technical. And tell me, I'm an English teacher. I'm not an engineer.
Mhm.
I couldn't answer. Like there were like 50 questions. I was able to get maybe three right. The rest of them were
Mhm.
wrong. And I
Right,
said,
right.
like, of course, they're not going to get me. I'm not going to get this job. Of course not,
Uh-huh,
because I'm
uh-huh.
not technical. But
Mhm.
somehow, when I was being interviewed, it was in English. I
Mhm.
told this person, I'll be honest, I'm not really good with IT, but I can learn. I'm a fast
Right,
learner,
right.
and I
Yeah.
really like talking to people. And he said, "Okay, maybe I can give you an opportunity." So he gave me
Yeah.
the opportunity,
I
and
think I think the same thing was true for me too. I didn't really have a great IT background, but I had really good English. So
exactly.
and but I already was using computers. I had a computer myself, right? So and I told them that I could learn, and yeah, and they hired me, and I yeah, and
Exactly.
the strange thing about information technology is that whatever people knew 5 or 10 years ago is no longer relevant,
It's obsolete.
right?
Yeah.
It goes obsolete so fast.
Mhm.
And I'm sure you can confirm this, Rafa. What you knew 10 years ago is not really relevant anymore. You yourself working in IT, you're always learning new things,
Mhm.
Yeah,
right?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's right.
Exactly.
Okay. So yeah, you can jump in at any point and
Exactly.
learn the new stuff. Yeah. Okay. But
Yeah.
please continue.
Yeah, so I stayed. I actually had to take calls from the Pfizer employees. So
Mm-hmm.
every single call, it was different. Some of them called because their computer was broken. Maybe I
Mm.
got another call, password reset. Those were my favorite ones because they
Oh
were really
yes.
fast.
Yeah.
So then I stayed there for a year. And then a friend of mine, also from the same account and in the same department, told me, "Hey, Ari, they're opening a position for Pfizer Animal Health." So Pfizer
Mm.
had a division for animals. And I said, "Well, that sounds nice and it sounds like a good challenge." And he said, "The only thing is that you need to be very good in solving Wi-Fi issues because everything is remote." These folks actually,
Wow.
they don't work in an office. They actually are always driving, and they're going to different hospitals, and they're meeting their customers in the veterinarian places. And then you have to be really good at solving issues that are remote. So do you feel comfortable with that?" I was like, "Okay, maybe I can try and see if
Hmm.
I'm given the opportunity or not." So
Right. Well,
they called me.
sometimes your customers were out with the cows.
Oh yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. It
Yeah.
was, and I
Uh-huh.
can tell you some stories about that. Yes, sometimes I had
Uh-huh.
to. So I was given the opportunity, and my customers, the majority of them were veterinarians.
Hmm.
Some of
Hmm.
them were also like the ones, like, let's say, like the trainers of the veterinarians, because they had to
Hmm.
know the product very well so they could sell it, to the
Hmm.
veterinarians. So we
Hmm.
had salespeople, and also I was also working with veterinarians.
Right.
And I had sometimes I was taking calls in which the person told me, like, "Hey, wait a minute, I need to just," and I listened to the cow in the
You could hear the
background.
cow. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And the nice thing about this job is that they had once a year, they had something called a national sales event. in which
Okay.
every single person from Pfizer Animal Health in the US had to go to a hotel, and for
Mhm.
1 week they stay there. Altogether, there were different conferences, and they needed IT people to be with them because
Mhm.
that was a perfect opportunity for the IT folks, in this case for me, to fix the computers that sometimes they didn't have the time to call us during they were driving. So it was
Mhm.
like the perfect opportunity. So I had the
Mhm.
chance of attending to many different states. I went
Mhm.
to Arizona. I went to Colorado Springs. I went
Mhm.
to Baltimore,
Wow.
Pennsylvania. I can tell you that I went to easily 15 different states in the US
Wow.
because of this
Okay.
opportunity. And because of HP, I also got my visa.
Mhm.
That was the first time that I went to the
And
US, and it was
and
because of HP. Yeah.
HP paid for the trips.
Yes, HP
Yeah.
paid for everything. All I had to do was to
Uh-huh.
be there to assist my customers face to face. Many of these
Uh-huh.
customers became really good friends. I still have some of them in my
Mhm.
Facebook, and
Mhm.
sometimes we speak. Many of them are
Okay.
doctors, so they are vets.
Right.
And uh,
Veterinarians, yeah.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
and the good thing about this department is that the people who called were usually the same. So they knew me.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was able to, and the issues that I had to fix were very complicated. So sometimes I
Mhm.
had to stay in a call for maybe an hour talking to a person.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
we used to talk about everything, not just about
Mhm.
work, but also some of them knew the name of my mom, they knew the name of my dogs. Because of, and also I like to talk, and I think I have this thing that I really like to connect to people.
Right.
So in the last conferences that I attended, I think the last one I went was in Colorado Springs.
Mhm.
I felt like a rock star somehow because everybody knew me. And I think it was because
Oh.
of the human touch that I was not just
Right,
fixing their
right.
computers. I really like to teach them how to fix their own things because I knew that these people didn't
Right.
have the time sometimes to
Right,
call.
right.
So I said, hey, I'm going to fix this for you this time. But next
Uh-huh.
time,
Uh-huh.
you can do this, this, and this, and you can fix it yourself. So they were
Yeah.
like, hey, thank
Uh-huh.
you for teaching me. So many of them became really good friends.
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
spent like one of the happiest years of my professional life working in this
Right.
place.
Uh-huh.
But
I,
then,
I, I,
Mhm.
I have to jump in
Yeah,
here and
yes,
say something that I knew about you at that time because I was working for Hewlett Packard and I was also on the Pfizer account.
yeah,
Okay. And then at one point, Pfizer Animal Health became separate. You had a separate line for that.
yes.
But I know for a fact that you were so popular that when people called up and they got somebody who wasn't you, they immediately asked for you. Okay. And there was
Oh,
a huge problem because everybody wanted to talk to you, and the new people were having a hard time. Uh, I hope you're not embarrassed here, but
no, 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 no. This is
no,
very good to know.
I know that you knew so much and you had close relations with the customers, and yeah, you were like you were the rock star in Pfizer Animal Health. I know you were. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I had a great time. And I think it's because somehow I felt that by doing, even though I was just taking calls and fixing computers,
Mhm,
but I
mhm.
tried to see the purpose of this, of what I was doing every day. I said, well, if I
Yeah.
fix this,
Mhm.
they're helping an animal. And if they're
Right.
helping an animal, I love animals. So somehow I
Uh-huh.
saw
Uh-huh.
this as, I think it's important always to think about your job, not just as a job,
Mhm.
but to see it as something that you're given to the society, right? And something that in which you're
Right.
helping. And I think
Uh-huh.
that that's what helped me also survive because I was also going to school. I was doing already my dissertation. There were
Mhm,
days in which I
mhm.
was sleeping 2 hours,
Mhm,
3 hours
mhm.
maybe. I had to
Mhm,
wake up at 3 a.m. because I
mhm.
had to go to the office and be in the office at 5 a.m. I don't know
Mhm,
how I did it
mhm.
back in the day, like good times, like
Right, right, right,
when I
right.
was young, that I was able to wake up at 3. But I did this for
Mhm.
5 years. I had this schedule
Right,
of
right,
5 a.m.
yeah.
until 2 p.m. for 5 years.
Mhm.
And then I finished my licenciatura, right? My postgraduate degree in English
Mhm.
teaching. And
Right.
the opportunity came to be an English teacher for the company.
Mhm, mhm.
So that's when we met closely, John, because we were together taking this training for to become also a
Yes,
trainer
yes,
for the
yeah.
company. And I got the job as an English teacher, let's say for the
Mhm.
employees.
Yes, you did.
So I was helping the employees during the hiring events. I was testing their English, helping them with the interviews, and also we had to.
I did some of that
I
sometimes.
remember we did together
Yes.
a few. Yes,
Our mutual friend Omar.
Omar. Yes.
Yes, I did. He asked me to help out with some of that. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, we had a great time, and then I became the trainer for Pfizer. So my
Mhm.
my role there was actually helping the employees in Pfizer who
Mhm.
didn't have, let's say, like not a good English, because in the end this is irrelevant, but maybe
Mhm.
people who got escalations because of the pronunciation. There were customers that
Mhm.
were very picky, so sometimes they said, "Hey,
Right.
I want this person. I cannot understand him very well." So these were the cases in which I was creating a specific curriculum and a specific program for these
Mhm.
people to help them, overcome certain challenges and
Mhm.
improve their English level.
Mhm.
I did that for 2 years, almost 3 years.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
and then an opportunity came to be a project manager, and I said, project manager management was like a big deal at that
Mhm.
moment, and I said, well, maybe it's time also to try something different.
Mhm.
So I did it, but I didn't like it very well. Like I think it was very technical. It
Mhm.
was very stressful. I was working in disaster recovery, so even the name is very scary.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I was working in disaster recovery, and my manager was a very nice person from Atlanta, Georgia.
Mhm.
But still, I didn't enjoy it. I felt that this sparkle, this thing that you have in your heart that makes you feel happy every
Mhm.
single day, was
Mhm.
actually not there anymore.
Right.
So
Right.
I started trying to find different opportunities outside of Hewlett Packard. That at that moment, it was not Hewlett Packard anymore. We were DXC.
Yep.
So I
Mhm.
said, well, I think it's the best time for me to try to find something different. And this friend of mine told me, hey, they're looking for a technical trainer in Roche, right, in this biotech company.
Mhm.
And she said, maybe you can try to see if they liked your profile. So send
Mhm.
the resume and go to the interviews. And I did that, and I got the job as a technical trainer there.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
Okay, I want to interrupt you here because we always let our students ask some questions, and we haven't had a chance for that. I also would like to mention, well, we have about 12 minutes left in the show, but if anybody's watching the show and they want to ask a question, we have a chat here, and you can write a question on the chat, and I would be happy to pass it on to Ariana, and we can answer it. But yeah, so Rafa, Carlos, Valeria, do you have any questions that you'd like to ask Ari here? And don't everyone speak at the same time, okay?
Yeah, yeah. So, Ari,
No,
so
in my
what?
case, it had been so really interesting to listen all your history, and I do not have questions by now.
Thank you.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah, I have a question
Yes.
for Ariana. So, you said that you worked with a lot of cultures, different
Yes.
countries, all that stuff. One thing that I'm struggling and my coworkers are struggling is with Indian people.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I worked with them 2 years, speaking English every day, and I continue struggling with them. Yeah,
Yes.
and and the last week, a coworker said me, how can we do to understand these guys? Because every time that we go into a call, we need to activate the MS Team translator
Uh,
or the other. I don't
Hmm.
remember the name of that feature, but
Hmm.
yeah. So
yes.
so do you have a recommendation or for
Okay.
to try to address that? Uh-huh.
Before Ari says anything, I just want to say something very, very short. I'm a native speaker of English. I also have problems understanding Indians.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
I know that.
Now you can respond to that, Ari.
Yes. Oh, yes. I feel you. I feel you, Rafa, because I remember I used to ask them the first thing when I started my call was asking for a username. And when they had to meet to spell, like I
Oh,
couldn't
yes.
understand anything. At some point, what I did, and I
Mhm.
know I try to find different ways of communicating. In the company, we had an internal chat, and
Mhm.
usually the people who called were also from the company. So when I realized that there was a miscommunication and that, okay, this is challenging for him, this is
Mhm.
challenging for him,
Mm.
I don't want to also, I always try to be very careful of not making the person feel uncomfortable, saying, hey, I
Yeah.
cannot understand you. I never use those words. I said, hey, there is somehow I think there is a background noise and I can barely understand what you're saying, but I think it's communication with something happening, right?
Mhm.
Not trying to
Mhm.
put it on the person, because of course they know there is something called affective filter. They know that
Mhm.
perhaps their pronunciation is difficult. So what I used to say was like, can you do me a favor? I'm gonna spell my name and my last name. Can you
Mhm.
try to just send me a chat? And then they said
Yes,
like,
yes,
hi.
yes.
And then I said, got it.
Yeah.
I have the person's name.
Right,
Sometimes
right.
when
Uh-huh.
I couldn't pronounce their name, because their names tend to be also very long,
Oh,
Yeah.
I
yeah.
used to tell them like, I don't want to mispronounce your name. Could you please tell me how to pronounce it correctly? And they used to say it. So I was like, okay, I got it. But
Right,
in
right.
terms of also the communication that is difficult, this is what I used to say. Hey, I have I think that there is a background noise or something that is causing some noise in our communication. Can you speak a little bit slower? And then they, of course, they understood like, oh, maybe I have to just slow down a little bit and pronounce
Right,
things
right.
better
Mm.
to
Yeah.
articulate. So that helped me a lot. Also, what helped me was, I think practice makes perfect. So the more you get calls, and also the more you talk to people from India, the
Mhm.
more your ear is going to become somehow ready to understand what they say. But it's always trying to find different ways. If you can use a chat,
Mhm.
can you send
Yeah.
me an email? And maybe just
Mhm.
so I don't want to miss this information is so important what you're saying, that I want to make sure that it's written down. Can you send this by email? This is my email address. So somehow these are different ways in which you can try to make sure that the message comes across, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
If that
Yeah.
Yeah.
makes
Thank,
sense.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah,
very much.
exactly. Yeah,
Hmm.
my strategy, because I had to do the same thing, was always to go to a chat,
Yeah.
and a lot of them, they know that they don't pronounce English very well. So if you suggest going to a chat, they're often very, very happy to do it. Okay, because you don't have, you avoid the pronunciation problems
Yes.
that way, right? Okay,
Hmm. Yeah.
and so I would frequently do that, suggesting we use a chat. But you always have to remember that you can't do that with a native speaker, because they
Mhm.
want to speak. They have phoned because they want to speak on the phone about their problem, right?
Yeah.
They don't want to have to switch to a chat. But the Indian guys, and also too with our setup at the Pfizer contract at Hewlett Packard, everybody had we had the phone, but we had the computer right there, so we had a chat, and it was really easy to find people. So we were able to go to that, and of course, it's much different if you don't have, if you're doing customer service with no computer, or with a
Yes.
computer that doesn't have a chat that connects you to the customer. That's harder, So,
Right.
but um, yeah. But just remember, as I said, like it's more difficult for you, but remember that it's difficult for native speakers as well.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
there's a whole
Yes.
things, and but it does help to learn the particular sounds that they can't pronounce. Like for example, V.
Oh,
They can't pronounce the V sound. The V sounds like a W. I even saw an Indian English teacher. I have a video of an Indian English teacher who's trying to teach the difference between
oh,
V and W,
oh,
and
wow.
he can't pronounce the V sound. He's acting as if he can, and I don't know if he actually is aware of the fact that maybe he just, he didn't want to look bad, but it's really. I play that video because, like, the guy himself, he knows the mechanics of how to pronounce it and everything. He actually had a lot of knowledge about it, but he couldn't actually do it himself. And but yes, he did explain the difference between them. It's just that the muscle coordination in the mouth and the voice wasn't there for him. But there are things like this. So you hear a W sound and you have to remember, oh, well, it could actually be a W, but it could be a V.
B. Okay.
And so if you're hearing a word like, I don't know, vapor, that's what it actually is. But if you hear him say vapor, then you have to think, okay, that's W, so it could be a V. So maybe it's vapor, right? Water vapor, right?
Yeah.
You have to think things like that. You have to know what they can't pronounce and what they get wrong. And the famous example is giro when asking for numbers, right? Okay. Do you know what giro is?
I don't know. Zero.
Okay,
What?
the number is 3, 4, 0, 0, 7, 9. What is 0, 0?
Zero. No.
Yeah, it's 0.
Zero.
They
Yeah.
cannot make the Z sound, and it comes out as a G sound. So when you hear a G sound, you have to think, oh, that could be a Z. It doesn't make sense when they're saying it as a G sound. So you have to think, oh, okay, change that to a Z sound. So you have to make these changes in your mind, right? Okay. And I actually can teach quite a bit about how to deal with people who speak English with a strong accent, and especially Indians too. I have some experience with it myself. So yeah. Okay. Let me see. Well, we are coming up to the top of the hour, so I don't like to run it over an hour too much. So, is there any final thing that you want to say, Adi?
Yes. Well, what I can tell you is just that to learn English, you can learn English anywhere. Sometimes we have this idea that you have to go to the fanciest institution, or that you have to have like the best teacher ever, which of course is important, but it's a 50-50.
Right.
Sometimes I would say that is more like a 70% that we as students have to do, because let's be honest, just attending a class for 3-4 hours is not enough. You need to also immerse yourself in the language. Also, it's important to make sure that you start having conversations with native speakers. It's okay to make mistakes. Actually, even speaking a second language is a sign of being very courageous. So don't be afraid of making mistakes, because mistakes are normal. And and it's important also to make sure that you can get feedback. I received feedback many times, even from customers, and I was so embarrassed, like, oh, this is so embarrassing. I should know it because I'm an English teacher. But no, don't try to put so much pressure on yourself. You're already trying so hard. So get inspiration from many places. If you like music, if you like books, if you like, I don't know, TV shows, try to immerse yourself in the language. It's a beautiful language to learn. And trust me, it will open many doors in your life. It's opening, like unlocking the door of a new world. So
I want to say, one thing we can conclude is that songs were really, really important for you. They were really good in making the language accessible to you, right? And they are such speaking of India, for young children in India, they often learn things by singing songs about them in class. And this is because singing is an extremely powerful memorization technique. First of all, it's repetition, but it's not boring repetition.
Yeah.
It's fun to sing. Okay. And so you are having fun while singing.
Right.
And you're learning something new. They use singing with children for even things like learning mathematics. They have mathematics songs and stuff like this. And it's a highly effective technique. Actually, the very interesting thing about India is before they had a standard education system, the way of teaching things like recipes in families was through song. And in fact, even today, a lot of Indian women who cook have learned recipes through songs. They've been doing it now for thousands of years. They have, I don't know, chicken soup. There's a song for how you make good chicken soup. Okay. And mothers teach it to children. Okay. Highly effective technique. And so it really works well in learning English. I have to say, one thing that we discovered from this show is I never realized this, but there are a lot of people who have said, and you said the same thing, Ari. There's a lot of people who have told us that rock bands in the 90s were among their best English teachers.
Yes. Yes,
You
grunge.
mentioned grunge, right?
Grunge.
Yeah, you mentioned Nirvana. You mentioned Avril Lavigne, who Avril Lavigne is great for learning a lot of slang and cool
Yes.
expressions. By the way,
Canadian. Yeah.
yeah, and you also said Alanis Morissette.
Yes.
Both Avril Lavigne
Canadian
and
too.
Alanis Morissette are Canadian women. Yep. We had other guys. For one guy, it was one guest we had on the show. It was Linkin Park. For another one,
By the way, for me was Metallica.
Evans.
Metallica.
Okay.
Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
Another guy was Limp Bizkit.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah. And these guys, some of them actually said that's what made me fluent in English, learning those songs and singing them too.
Yes.
If you actually can sing them, hey, that's great, because language is something that has to come into your brain, but it also has to come out of your brain. And every time it comes out of your brain, you're hearing it again, and that puts it back in and reinforces the memory of it.
Absolutely.
It's amazing how this works. But the more you sing a song, the stronger and stronger it becomes in your mind, to the point where we all experience this. You know how you're just doing something during your day and suddenly a song pops into your head
Mhm.
and you can't get it out of your head. Sometimes you don't even like the song, right?
Mhm.
Well, that's an automatic mechanism that works in your mind. Okay. Your mind takes songs that it knows really, really well and just suddenly, unexpectedly, will randomly play them back to you. Okay. And hey, that shows us that that song is in there. You've got almost all of it. Okay. Sometimes you don't remember certain parts. Okay. But you've got it in there. Okay. And if you can get that going, that process going with songs in English, that's absolutely fantastic, because then someday you'll be out for a walk and suddenly the song by Avril Lavigne or Nirvana or whatever will come into your mind, and you know what it's all about.
Yes.
Okay. Also, something similar sometimes happens with English. If you are having dreams in English, then you know that you are. It's in there.
Yeah.
It is definitely. It's in your long-term memory.
Mhm.
Okay, and that's absolutely
Mhm.
fantastic. So, yeah. So I highly recommend learning songs in English and singing them.
Mhm.
Yeah, sing them and. Make sure that you know what everything means in the song. Look everything up. Use a translator. Okay. And take your favorite songs in English and learn them. As a matter of fact, I just got a great idea. One thing I should do, maybe I should pick a week here. I should take my students and I say, okay, tell me what your favorite song is in English. We're going to learn it.
Yeah.
Everybody tells me their favorite song in English. We go through, we translate it. It should be actually a new song. Your favorite, the favorite song that you want to learn, not one that you already know. But that is fantastic. When you do that, it's repetition that's fun.
Yes.
And you need repetition to make English, those structures in English, permanent in your mind. And I highly recommend that.
Yeah. And also to emphasize that what you said, John, it is proven. There are theories that say that actually, when you're learning something, activating senses is very
Hmm.
important to make it stick. And
Oh
also
yeah, yeah, yeah.
ensuring that emotions, because music
Emotions.
brings emotions in you. If I listen
Exactly.
to
Exactly.
complicated, I remember when I was 17, my brain goes to means when I was 17 and being
Alanis
very,
Morissette. Yeah.
you know, exactly. So
Oh,
it
the
brings
tension of being
memories.
a young woman. Yes. Uh-huh.
Exactly. And that's the best
Yeah.
way to also learn something,
No, you
by
are
having
absolutely right about that,
emotions.
because I often do a lot of repetition with my students, but we're doing drills and that stuff's not very emotional. But yeah, you take a song, and a song that has feeling for you, that you like
Exactly.
what that's why people were attracted to grunge, because it
Mhm.
expressed feelings that they really wanted to be able to express.
Yes.
Okay. And yeah, putting the emotion in there, that is something that just makes it even stronger. So, as I said, like there was one guy in particular we had, he said that he stopped taking English classes and he just started listening to music. And for him, it was, in his case, I think it was Linkin Park. Linkin Park is what made him able to speak English. Um, and um, uh, yeah, I think sometimes we English teachers, we need to realize that music is such a powerful tool. It's sometimes even better than teachers.
Yeah, it's true.
I hate to say that. I don't want people to quit taking classes from me,
But these
but
are other ways to reinforce
oh
what you
yeah,
teach. Mm.
yeah. But yeah. Okay, good. Well, let's see. That is it. We're basically out of time, so I'm going to. It's the same thing. Wow. Call it a day for today. Okay. Yeah. So thank you very much, Ariana.
Thank you for having
I
me.
I think we could have heard a lot more from you. We didn't even really get into your experiences at Roche, but yeah, I really liked some of the things that you told us about. And how about you guys? Did you get any useful tips? Did you
Yeah,
get anything
Yeah.
inspiring from Ari?
Yeah,
yeah.
Absolutely.
absolutely.
It's a,
I'm glad. I'm glad.
Very
Thank
quickly,
you.
very
Thank you very
quickly,
much.
very quickly. Rafa, what
Mhm.
was the most interesting thing that Ari told you today?
Okay, I think the 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 part of they were struggling with the Spanish that caught my
Oh,
attention.
oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, and the grunge part.
The grunge part. Okay.
Yeah.
Valeria, what was the most interesting thing that Ari told you about today?
To practice, even if you don't understand all that the person are trying to say, and it doesn't matter if you are wrong, just
Right,
try it
right,
and practice.
right.
And
Yeah.
I really like her pronunciation.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
thank you, dear.
I agree. Yeah, you've really you don't have much of a Costa Rican accent. You've really learned to speak in a kind of English that is not influenced by the Costa Rican accent. So that just shows how much experience you've had with international speakers of English.
Thank you. Thank you.
You don't say Jess instead of yes,
Yeah.
and things like that. So
Yes.
yeah,
But you have
very-
no idea how many hours I spent in front of my mirror, like pronouncing the words. I can tell you
yeah, yeah, yeah.
many hours, many hours. I took many courses of phonetics, phonology, and
Yeah.
also
Oh, it
trying
shows. It shows.
to imitate teachers, to imitate native speakers. I
Okay.
think I'm good imitating and trying to sound kind of the same, but it really
Uh-huh.
requires a lot of work. Yes.
Right. Okay. And finally, Carlos, what was your favorite point from today?
Okay, I think 2 points. The grunge music, it was amazing, and the second one, I think, yeah, I heard all the story, and I think the most important thing that you're a patient person. The most important thing,
Yeah.
and I like to hear her story. Yeah, you're patient to learn, to teach, to make everything.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Great. Well, the music is ended,
for-
so that is it for today. Thank you very much, everybody. Great show today. Excellent. And
Thank you.
Thank
hope
you.
to see
everyone.
you all sometime in the
Thank you,
future.
Ari.
Okay.
Thank you, teacher.
Oh, you're welcome. It was a pleasure to
Yeah.
meet you, everybody. Bye bye.
Yep.
Thank you, John, for
Thank you.
having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Our
Bye.
pleasure. Our pleasure. Definitely. Okay, then. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.